الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين على رسولنا محمد صلوات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تنظر إلى أثار رحمة الله كيف يحيي الأرض بعد موتها إن ذلك لمحيي الموتى وهو على كل شيء قدير. So observe the effects of the mercy of Allah, how He gives life to the earth after its lifelessness. Indeed, that same one will give life to the dead, and He is over all the things. This is one of the verses from the Quran. I have particularly chosen this verse because I mean since we are in the season of spring, and Allah compares in the Quran compares the season of spring with resurrection. I mean, in the Islamic literature, in the Quran, in the Hadith, there are lots of references to resurrection through the spring of season. I mean, these days, the spring season has different meanings, has different significances for different cultures and religions. I mean, even now in Christianity, it's like Lenten time, and there is, again, it's a special time for them. In Islam, as you know, the Prophet ﷺ, we believe that he was born in the spring season. And now it is in Nowruz time, in some cultures, there is a celebration for the coming of the spring season. So it is very important in different cultures, in different religions. But I would love to reflect on the season of spring from a different from the faith, from Imanic perspective, from the Quranic perspective. How our experience of the season of this spring should be. What are the lessons in the spring for us? So that's why I wanted to take this particular verse and reflect on the season of spring. As we well know that the purpose of our creation, to know God and to worship Him. When you look at the Quran, when you look at the Hadith, you don't see any ambiguous language when it comes to the purpose of our creation. Quran is actually very clear when it comes to the purpose of our creation. The purpose is to know Allah and worship Him. And so the question, how we can know Allah, and from where we can get the knowledge about Allah, how can we know Him in the best way? And again, in the literature, in the Islamic tradition, there are three major elements that tell us about Allah. So one is the Quran, one is the Messenger, Prophet ﷺ. So Allah reveals the Quran to the Prophet ﷺ so that we can know him, Then we can know about the purpose of our creation. And the third one is the universe, the book of universe. And in fact, in the literature, when it comes to universe, the word book is used with the universe because it is also considered a different type of book, the book of universe. So our third element that tells us about Allah is the universe. So when we look at the universe, we should remember Allah. This is the resonation. The verse in the Quran goes like this: وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me. So the language is very clear, right? I mean, there is no ambiguity. The purpose of creation, to worship Allah and to know Him. And again, in order to know Allah, then we should make an effort to learn to learn the ways, to know Allah, right? How can we have a better knowledge about Allah? And one of the interesting, like in the striking thing in the history of Islam, during the Prophet ﷺ's time, when one of the verse, I will recite this verse about the universe, about the creation was revealed, and this verse has like a great impact on the Prophet ﷺ. And the verse goes like this: "Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafi al-layli wan nahar la ayatin li ulil albab." In the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the alternation of the night and the day are signs for those who think, who reflect, who use their intellect, who use their reason. And then after the revelation of this word, the Prophet, he would get up during the night and would pray the whole night. And Aisha would approach him. Why are you praying so much? I mean, we know that, even though your future shortcomings and past shortcomings has been forgiven by Allah, why are you still getting up and praying during the night? And he will say, shouldn't I be thankful to Allah? And then, according to tradition, the inspiration of the Prophet was this verse, after the revelation. And then the Prophet ﷺ, when he would recite this verse, by referring to those who do not reflect on God's creation, when they look at His creation, they would not remember Him. He would say, it is shame for them when they look at God's creation and do not remember of Him. And when you look at the Quran, there are like hundreds of verses that encourage us to think, to use our intellect, to use our reason when it comes to creation, when it comes to universe. And it is not just encourage, it provokes us, it provokes the readers to think, challenge them, question, so that they can think of Allah. And when you, again, in the Quran, you see that these phrases come in the structure of like a negative question. Like, أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ أَفَلَا تَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Like, do not you think? In the negative form, but it means positive. Think. Use your intellect. Use your reason. And constantly it comes. It shows up in the Quran. And the thing is that there are lots of distractions. I mean, when you see now, this is again the spring season, there is like a constant resurrection, right? Allah gives the earth life from the beginning. And this is like very visible, you cannot avoid it. But unfortunately, because of lots of distractions, we just dismiss this fact. Dismiss to reflect on Allah's creation, on His art, on the decoration of the universe. Again, in one of the verses in the Quran, like the way that Allah praises believers, how which kind of character that Allah wants us to have. And we see in the Quran, He outlines this character. It goes like this: الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك وقنا عذاب النار. See how Allah praises the believers who remember Allah while standing or sitting or lying on their sides and give thought to the creation of the heavens and the earth, saying, Our Lord, you did not create this aimlessly. Exalted you are above such a thing. Then protect us from the punishment of the fire. So this is the way that Allah praises believers, encourages them, constantly encourages them to remember Him through His creation. Constantly. And with the season of the spring, Allah redecorates and rebuild the whole universe. It is like, Allah spreading a beautiful carpet through the whole universe on the earth with different colors, with different designs. It's like a carpet. I mean, if you think like in a whole picture, it's really like a carpet. And Allah puts this carpet like in an instant way, like kun fayakun, and He will say be, and it is. And then He removes like the white page of winter and replaces it with the green pages of spring. There's a great transformation. It's not like something that is usual. I mean, even though it becomes usual in our eyes, but actually it's a great transformation, a great change, like the shift from winter to spring. And you see, I mean, here, DC is usually very green, and you can see this is like very visible. Allah's manifestation through the season of spring. So this is how we should look at the spring, the season of the spring. Always see behind of everything, behind of a flower, behind of an insect, behind of the river. Can you see Allah's manifestation? Can you see Allah Himself behind of everything? So today, that's why I want to keep the khutbah short, because this is a theoretical part, and when you go outside, you shall try to practice it. When you see a flower, do not say how beautiful it is. Say how beautiful it was made. Say how beautiful Allah made this flower. This is how we should look at the creation. So this is our message, our lesson today. When you go outside, when you see the beauty, because it's a beautiful day, inshallah you'll have a beautiful, nice weekend. But try to put Allah, in the center of your life. When you look at flower, look at the trees, sun, rising, shining, always it should remind us our Creator. So this way, the season of spring is more meaningful. And when you look at something, it is so beautiful, and you don't care about who made this beauty. Does it make sense? Imagine you go to your room and you see a beautiful decoration. Someone has a power, came to your room and decorated in the best way. And he does it every day, every season. But you don't care about it. I don't care about it. Ignoring and dismissing, or not looking at Allah's creation with a meaningful eye, just like this. Just someone came to your room, decorate the best way, but you don't care. This is an insult for this person, actually. And it's an insult for the whole creators, because they do their duty in the best way. And we human beings, Allah gave us intellect to think, and we dismiss our duty, our task to remember Allah. Ala Rasulina Muhammadin salawat. Ask Allah for forgiveness. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم على رسولنا محمد صلوات. You may remember, like in the first verse that I recited in the beginning of Khutba, فانظر إلى آثار رحمة الله كيف يحيي الأرض بعد موتها. So then Allah, when He refers resurrection by using the season of the spring. So look at the mercy of Allah, how He resurrects, gives life to the earth after its death. Because in winter it looks like a death, right? It's a dead person. But then lots of things come up in the spring. Yeah, Allah understand. So then in the literature, one of the things that also we should learn, so in the first part of our khutbah, the lesson is when we look at Allah's creation, remember Allah, remember the Creator. So the second part, that the spring, yeah, it's beautiful, it's a beautiful season, we enjoy it. It also should remind us the resurrection of death. Because I believe that today, one of our major problem is following our desires. So once we have